Greetings, my dear friends. Today I continue our journey through ancient cosmologies. We have already spoken about Hinduism with its infinite cycles and Mount Meru. We have spoken about Buddhism with its 6 realms and 3 spheres. But today I want to turn to another part of the world, to South America, to a civilization that did not know the wheel but built roads through the Andes, that did not have writing but left messages in stone, to the Inca Empire, and to their cosmology. This is Dreamweaver Mystics as always. If you think the Incas were primitive, you are mistaken. Their understanding of the universe was complex, multi-layered, and astonishingly harmonious. They looked at the sky and saw not just stars, they saw gods, ancestors, and signs. They looked at the earth and saw not just mountains and rivers, they saw a living body, the body of Pachamama, Mother Earth. The central idea of Inca cosmology is the 3 worlds, not 3 spheres like in Buddhism, not 3 realms of desire, form, and formlessness. For the Incas, it was both simpler and more complex at the same time. The upper world, Hanan Pacha, the world of gods, stars, the sun, and the moon. The middle world, Pacha, the world of humans, animals, plants, rivers, and mountains. The lower world, Ukhu Pacha, the inner earth, the world of the dead, ancestors, seeds, springs, and serpents. 3 worlds that are not separate from each other. They interpenetrate each other. They are connected by tunnels, by caves, by springs. And the main symbol of this connection was the sacred ladder or axis, the Ceque. It all sounds familiar, doesn't it? In Hinduism, Mount Meru, connecting the worlds. In Buddhism, the axis of the universe. In shamanic traditions, the world tree. The Incas called it Ceque, but the essence is the same. Humanity has been drawing the same map of reality for thousands of years, just with different colors. At the center of the Inca Empire, in the city of Cusco, stood the temple of Coricancha, the Golden Temple. Its walls were covered in gold. Inside stood images of the gods, but most importantly, Coricancha was the center of the world. From it, like rays from the sun, lines radiated to all 4 cardinal directions. These lines were called Ceques. They connected the temple to hundreds of sacred places, Huacas. A Huaca is not just a temple. A Huaca is any place where sacred power dwells. A mountain, a cave, a spring, a rock, a crossroads, even a bridge. The entire land of the Incas was covered by an invisible web of sacred lines and points, and this web connected the 3 worlds. The Incas did not build their cities randomly. They built them in the image of the sky. The city of Cusco was designed in the shape of a puma, a sacred animal, and the river flowing through the city was the puma's spine. The Coricancha temple was in the tail. But this is not just zoomorphism. It is the reflection of the cosmos on Earth. As above, so below. The main deity of the Incas was the sun god, Inti. He was the patron of the empire. The son of the sun, Sapa Inca, the supreme ruler, the living embodiment of divine power. The wife of the sun, Mama Quilla, the moon goddess. She was the patroness of women, marriage, and the calendar. The sun and moon had a son and a daughter. The thunder god, Illapa, and the earth goddess, Pachamama. Pachamama was revered as the source of all life. She could not be disturbed too much. Offerings were made to her, burying corn, coca leaves, seashells. Pachamama does not forgive those who treat her without respect. In the stars, the Incas saw not just points of light. They saw animals, gods, and events. The Milky Way was a sacred river for them, Mayu, the river along which the souls of the dead descend into Ukhu Pacha and return again. The dark spots in the Milky Way were the silhouettes of beings: a llama, a fox, a toad, a serpent. The Incas called them dark constellations. They did not look at the bright stars. They looked at the shadows between them. Because shadow is also reality, sometimes more important than light. Planets also played their role. Venus was the servant of the sun, Ilapa. It appeared sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. Its movement foretold the fate of the empire. Eclipses were signs of anger. After the Spanish conquest, chroniclers recorded that the Incas feared eclipses because they thought the moon was being devoured by a serpent or a puma, and they would start beating drums, shouting, waving spears to drive away the monster. Time in Inca cosmology was cyclical, as in Hinduism, as in Buddhism, not linear. Each year the sun traveled its path. Every 6 months, the days became longer or shorter. The Incas celebrated the most important astronomical events. Inti, the festival of the sun, the winter solstice. Capac Remi, the festival of the emperor, the summer solstice. Aimore, the harvest festival, when people thanked Pachamama and asked her not to take their grain. But the most amazing thing about Inca cosmology is its practicality. It was not just a collection of myths. It governed agriculture, construction, marriages, wars, trade. The Incas did not separate religion from life. They did not separate heaven from earth. They did not separate the living from the dead. The dead continued to participate in the life of society. The mummies of former rulers were taken out to the fields during sowing. They were consulted. They were offered food. Because in Ukhu Pacha, there is no death, only transition. And here we come to the most interesting part. What resonates with our previous topics. The 3 worlds of the Incas are not 3 different realities. They are 3 levels of one reality. The upper world is your consciousness. The middle world is your body. The lower world is your unconscious. And they are all connected. They all influence each other. The Incas knew this. They built their cities in the image of the sky. They built their lives in the image of the cosmos. When you look at the mountains, you do not see stones. You see sacred huacas. When you hear a song, you hear the voice of an ancestor. When you bury a seed in the ground, you bury it in the body of Pachamama, so that it may die and be reborn. The Incas were not afraid of death. They included it in life. As night is included in day, as winter is included in spring, as shadow is included in light. In our modern culture, we have lost this feeling. We have separated heaven from earth. We have separated soul from body. We have separated the living from the dead. And now we wonder why we do not feel unity, why we feel disconnected from the world. The Incas could give us the answer. Because you forgot that everything is connected. A mountain in the Andes and a star in the sky are one. Your dream and your life are one. You and the one who died 100 years ago are one. In Andean communities, a tradition still survives. Once a year, they open a passage to Ukhu Pacha. They descend into caves. They bring offerings to their ancestors. They speak with those who are no longer there, and they return renewed. Because the lower world is not hell, it is the source, the roots, that without which the tree falls. The Incas did not build pyramids like the Egyptians. They built terraces, steps. They climbed upward to be closer to Hanan Pacha, and they descended to touch Ukhu Pacha. Their life was a vertical axis. The Inca Empire lasted only about 100 years. The conquistadors destroyed the temples. They killed the priests. They burned the mummies. But the cosmology did not disappear. It went into the earth, into Ukhu Pacha, and waits for us to return. When we learn again to look not only upward, but also downward. Not only at the stars, but also into the caves. Not only at the light, but also at the shadow between the stars. And that is all for today. This was Dreamweaver Mystics. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I read the comments. And write, what do you feel when you look at the mountains? What do you feel when you look at the dark sky between the stars? Do you believe that everything is connected? I read everything. And remember, even if the temples are destroyed, the stars remain. And they remember. Until next time.